It is now.
If you were speaking about, I would say that they cannot be.
Naturally, we are talking about family members now. Before now, they understand that you are not color gone, like you said. But with the situation of things, even people asking somebody for something, asking for help this time. Even when they ask for their mind, they know say this thing will not come out well. But let me just give it a try. So telling them that you can't afford to, you don't go really pain them like that. They go, no, say I was expecting that.
No, you have not meet somebody that would pray heaven and earth for you. That will make you release that money.
You can pray heaven and earth. I'm also good at praying. You pray for me, I pray for you.
Oh God!
And prayer is supposed to be free, my brother.
And we are live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, the rest of Africa. My name is Ade Folami Agumbiadi, and you're welcome to the hottest podcast in the universe, the Darkpore Show.
Yeah.
And today we'll be talking about surviving your 20s. We'll be analyzing how people would survive the subsidy removal in Nigeria. Okay, over the past couple of days, with the new president sworn into Nigeria, the fuel price, pump price of fuel, petrol at filling stations rose from 189 naira, 50 kobo, to 488 naira in Lagos. And it has caused a lot of chaos. So we'll be analyzing, we'll be looking at a particular article, and we'll be discussing challenges that people are facing and what you can do to survive in Nigeria. All right, so let's jump into the article. Like I said earlier, I'm Ade Folami Agumbiadi. Let's just do a quick introduction. So,
I'm Aigbe Gift. I'm a student and a model.
Yeah, I'm Abib Jima by name. I'm a car tracker installer.
Okay, I'm Lois by name. I'm a student and a fashion designer, and I go by Imadi on Instagram.
Okay, my name is Ogechi Aduba. I'm an event planner. Instagram and Ogechi Hilda.
My name is Olayemi, medical rep. Instagram, Plenty Facts. All social media, Plenty Facts.
Okay, well, I'm your co-host, Oji. My name is Oji, actually.
you can find him on LinkedIn as Oji. He's a software developer.
Okay. My name is Oluwatosin Modene. I work with Enterprise Life Nigeria.
I'm Jessica Oyemiki, and I'm a fashion designer. My Instagram handle is pearlplace_9.
Okay. I'm AY, for short. For long, it can be more.
I'm Omolara. I'm a student and a business owner. My Instagram is Zerabi.
Yeah, I'm Gabriel Igrinya, and I'm a data scientist.
All right, so we're back. Today's show, we're looking at how you can survive the fuel subsidy removal in Nigeria, and we'll be reviewing an article. The article was written by Omono Okonkwo, How to Cope with Fuel Subsidy Removal in Nigeria. It was published on Nairametrics website. And so let's take a look at it. So the essential summary of this particular article is the first point there. The Nigerian government recently made the tough but inevitable decision to no longer pay fuel subsidies for its citizens. As a result, Nigerians must now focus on developing coping mechanisms amidst the rising cost of transportation and the struggle of the masses to cope with inflation and mega earnings. So this article highlights some behavioral changes Nigerians must adapt to in order to survive. If you haven't had the time, I would suggest you go read the article, because there are recommendations on how you can cope with fuel subsidy removal. So the issues we're tackling, let's just even jump into the article. What part of the fuel subsidy affects us the most? Let's start with the men, because I don't think women particularly have problems.
Transportation is a problem.
Actually.
Transportation is a very big problem.
Don't say we should not start with us, because now they are first.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that before this week, no one has paid your ticket?
Nobody has paid my ticket.
I doubt
That is part of how it is effective, because
That's part of how it's effective.
no.
Yes, now.
Someone that is paying 500, maybe 300 before. Now
You are not
paying
paying
about
for
600
2
and you think
You know what?
you
Not
enter,
pay for another
it's not going to pay for another person.
You know, you lock up, say the one where maybe country killer.
Before you even leave your house, I want to be looking at. Before you come out for your house, you will not calculate the kind of money where you go spend for the day.
As a matter of fact, this country now, you should not even budget. If you are budgeting 500, you may end up spending 800. So your budget, you should multiply it while going out.
Okay, so I think we should go systematically. How does it affect you? Like throughout this week, the stuff was announced May 29. So throughout this week, I think I should start with let me start with the women. Okay. So throughout this week, how has it really affected you? Like not general, like you.
Impressive.
Like me, now, I know that from K2 to Yaba is I can share that experience. So how has it affected you?
Of recent, on Saturday, I went to Abeokuta. Okay. So while going to Abeokuta, from Itaoluwo to Shagam, I paid 800. Yes, Itaoluwo to Shagam, I paid 800. So I'm getting to Shagam, from Shagam to Abeokuta, I pay another 800. But on Saturday, when I got to Shagam, I paid 1,200.
Wonderful.
So that's like double. So when I got to Abeokuta, while coming back, another amount. While coming back, I pay 800, 600, 500. But the price now is 1,000. No reduction. So I did not even plan I was going to spend that much.
So in summary, like how much did you spend in total?
Going and coming, it was close to 4K. Just Abeokuta.
And before it was how much?
Before going to Abeokuta.
Before the subsidy.
Before the subsidy. I'll just spend like up to like 2,000 something.
Oh, that's double.
That's double.
Yeah, that's double.
So how has that affected your weight? You know what I mean?
It has affected me because no. The money, the stress and everything.
For me, I feel it has affected everything.
Yeah.
Before the country, they push them, but right now, no. Starting from the business I do and transport getting there. Okay, if I'm to make snacks for people at this certain amount, now I go to the market, I want to buy egg. The one that even first me past yesterday was when I went to the market and I want to buy egg. My mom is telling me for 1 crate of egg, you're buying it for 3,000. I'm like, okay, the egg no big. It still remain the small size it is, and I'm like, I waka yesterday. How much was
it before the subsidy?
From 2,500
to 3,000.
You see 2,200, 2,300 for the medium. If you want to buy the big one, you see it for 2,500. From the small one, you see it for 2,300. Now the small one is 3K for just one crate.
A crate of egg.
And for my house, to that place where I went to buy it. Okay. So now me buying in a very large quantity, I'm spending more safe. I'm spending more.
Buying large quantity?
Yes. Before, if you are buying a large quantity, you haven't spending a bit lesser.
So is that why all the egos are now smaller?
It goes small now. I want to cut it according to
your pocket.
Yes, now.
At least, but the good thing is like you're still putting eggs inside.
Oh,
so because there's some egos that you open, you need garden egg.
You need a slice of. I wonder in Aja under bridge, that one is even worse safe. I'm very sure now they will not even sell safe now because before they are cutting one egg, they will cut it into 4 and put it in the same amount like everybody will want to sell. So now me going to the market at this point now, I'm very sure by today, if I want to go and buy flour, I buy like 6 bags, 7 bags. For per 1 bag you are buying, I'm going to be buying it now. I'm not surprised if they tell me a bag of flour is 45,000.
How much was it before?
Bag of flour was 38, 35. You see, it depends. If you are buying golden penny, you are buying it for 35. If you are buying what's the name? Honeywell, you are buying it for 38.
But it's strange.
Okay, so that's price of food items. We'll come back to.
So for the fuel, buying it because I cannot carry it alone. You have to look for is either you are taking Uber or a normal bike.
How will you take Uber or bag of flour?
If you are going, yes.
They do, of course.
Yes. If I'm going to the market, I don't take bag.
I'm a rich kid.
No, it's not a bag now. You're not buying a bag. You are
She said she's buying like 7 bags.
I buy like 7 to 8 bags. And it's not only flour that will take me to the market.
Okay.
Now, even say if I'm going to, I go to Dosumu market. From Dosumu to where my office is, I'm spending less than 12 to 15K. Just Uber. And you know the Lagos traffic here, it's crazy. Especially that heading from Lekki down to Aja is worse. So if I'm saying now, I'm going to be spending like 20K. Opening my boat app, and someone I just saw just from here to where, okay, from Sandfield to Aja. Now, before it was 600 naira. Now, I saw it this morning, it was 2,000. When you enter bus, just normal bus.
Naira.
Even say, then it was 100 naira now, but now it's not 100 naira. Even say normal bus would tell you that, madam, is 300. I want to say, okay, before from Aja bus stop, you see 500 naira down to Sandfield, wherever you are going to. But now, they will tell you, madam, 1,000 naira if you are not paying a bole.
Okay, does anybody else? But that's Lagos Island, Lekki, VI, Aja. It's definitely things will be a bit more expensive there. Is there anybody else that can say that maybe the cost of transportation in their part of Lagos or Nigeria has stabilized?
Yeah, yesterday I went to my aunt's 50th birthday and we had to cook from home. So we had to carry things from home, the food and everything. So when we're like contemplating, because the rain was much, we did not know where to carry. We didn't have to charter a tricycle or something. My mom was like, okay, let's order Uber. But like from Italo to high school, 3,500. My mom was like, okay.
So which high school is that?
Ikorodu High School. I think the one after Coldstone. My mom was like, okay, let us charter a keke. And I was like, how many keke do you want to charter? You are charter like 4 or 5 keke to carry all these things to. And she was like, what should we now do? We called the man, and the man was like, there was hold up, and that the money might even increase. Mom was like, don't worry, be going. We'll call family members, we'll come and carry it. Because the transportation, I think from Ikorodu, from my place to Ikorodu High School should not be that expensive. It should be around range of 1,000, 1,500. And I think we're going to charter about 2 Ubers that day yesterday. After everything, I think we later chartered Uber and we paid about 8,000 naira just for Uber.
8,000.
High school, just high school year.
What's the distance between high school and the town?
It's less than 7 kilometers. Yes, it's less than 7 kilometers.
Is there anybody whose cost of transportation has kind of like still remained slightly the same?
I think for those that are taking BRT.
Yeah, I said BRT.
Yeah. Okay, BRT they've not increased the cost of.
I think that's the way you can
them.
Just for the only BRT, but from your own like from your house to where the BRT, it's changed.
Okay, we'll come back to the issue of transportation. Another item is gifts to family members. Okay, so we won't talk to the women about that because generally women tend to be
the family member
on the receiving end.
My opinion,
or the family
and you guys
member
can come
itself.
from, my opinion is that the hands of women are coated with gum.
They are
Right,
receptors.
But generally, for those who give out gifts on a regular basis, what has your experience been?
Well,
what has the experience been?
Gifts. I think I have a recent experience on that.
I give her gifts. I don't give her gifts.
Even the gift we're talking about is even people that beg you maybe 500, 1,000, 200, 250.
Subsidy.
That's what I mean.
Or Bambiala by the wayside.
Maybe, for example, maybe you go to a supermarket and then as you're coming out, the security guard is saying that.
Yes, Bambiala.
Recently, when we talk about that gift, those I give out to are those I know that is maybe it's a matter of life and death. Matter of life and my life and death.
So you're not a giver.
That is not the point. Everybody understands how the situation of things is now.
If you were speaking about, I would say that they cannot be.
Naturally, we are talking about family members now. Before now, they understand that you are not color gone, like you said. But with the situation of things, even people asking somebody for something, asking for help this time. Even when they ask for their mind, they know say this thing will not come out well. But let me just give it a try. So telling them that you can't afford to No, you don't go really pain them like that. They go, no, say I was expecting that.
No, you have not meet somebody that would pray heaven and earth for you. That will make you release that money.
You can pray heaven and earth. I'm also good at praying. You pray for me, I pray for you.
Oh God.
And prayer is supposed to be free, my brother.
Even if they are not family member, if the situation is just something that you can afford it, one, but the situation is something that will tempt you to do that thing. Of recent, a guy called me. When he called, I don't know him from Adam. Before that, he messaged me on Facebook. So it was like...
You have never met him before?
I've never met him before. But what he saw on my profile, University of Ilorin. So he thought I was a student of University of Ilorin. But I'm just an alumni. So he messaged me, was like, please, I should give him my number. Sorry, I don't know you. And it was like, his name is he mentioned his name and he said I should just please give him my number. Anyways, I sent my number. Then the following day he called me and he was like, the mother is sick. The mother is in the hospital. If I need the proof to see that he can be on video call and see the mother, that they needed a particular amount of money and it's just remaining 1,500.
Oh boy, what's that mean?
Inside how much? 30K.
You said?
It's always 30K. Inside how much?
No. The money he needed as at that point was 1,500. He was like doing he can do video call, giving all sorts of things. And I said, firstly, I don't know. He said yes. He doesn't know me too. As a matter of fact, but he only saw on my profile at University of Ilorin that he was thinking that we are in the same citadel of learning, that he's also a student of University of Ilorin. So I said, okay, I'm a graduate of that school. So, okay, I said, the point is, your mother needs it, no problem. If you lie, and you and God know that one. But this is a matter of life and death something.
And it follows your principle.
And you say it's 1,005. I look at my account balance. Okay. I can still spare that 1,005. No problem. Send your account number. Then I send it to the person. But naturally, if it is a family member or somebody else that is telling me he needs money for shawarma, when I know my account balance is not smiling. If I've been sending money for shawarma before, that was when everything was going on fine. But this time around, everybody they para mood. I'm sorry, your shawarma can wait. If you don't eat shawarma, you will not die.
All right. So with this stuff you just said, just even leads us to ask the next question. How has this influenced how has this influenced in the past couple of weeks anyway? How has it influenced your going out on dates?
Have I been on date before?
Nobody wants to go for a date today. No.
On date, Sha. It's not.
No, the normal point now they are just saying, babe, come to my house. Why? Why is it so?
Rain is falling.
I don't like that kind of thing.
Never enter that one.
You are the one that people are invited to their house.
Me, they never invited.
Something like that.
See, this whole thing.
Let's tie it up. All right, so let me ask. Let's ask the new faces on the show. Has this affected your being asked out on dates? The fuel subsidy removal.
Firstly, I don't go out on dates. Nobody asks me out on dates.
Wonderful.
Because I'm this kind of person. I'm always in my space.
Okay.
Introvert.
So nobody has asked you out on dates even before the fuel subsidy came.
Exactly.
Chai.
Or they asked you out and you said no. No, they are two different.
People don't message you on social media to ask you out on dates.
She doesn't use it.
And
I think
you won't be offended if some take it as a challenge.
I think the dates need clarity. Like,
okay, let me.
What kind of dates?
Somebody wants to take you to go get ice cream. Somebody wants to take you to a restaurant.
Like I was saying before, I've not gone out. Like outside. I'm always in my house or at work.
Okay. Are you saying that? Because your folks may be watching this?
No, not my parents know me that I'm this kind of person that I don't going out, but I had to minimize it.
You had to?
Like, I do take myself out, not guys taking me out.
Madam, you are trying to
What's that
appear like
called?
you are holier than everybody.
Okay. If I get to see a guy that'll take me out, why not?
Okay, so challenge accepted.
Okay, challenge
Somebody in the
accepted.
studio. If you get to see a guy that takes her out. Okay, but you taking yourself out on dates, has there been any change ever since?
The fuel subsidy, yes.
Okay, so what exactly?
The transport is high. Like from my house to Saluro, it's like 300, 400 now. Usually it's always 100 naira.
So that's triple.
Yes. Or if I'm taking a break, it's like spending about 1.5 thereabouts. So I rather stay in my house, use the 1.5 to prepare rice.
You on a date at home, something like that. Wonderful.
All right, so gift. How about you? Any change?
Yeah, there has been changes.
Really?
Because it's affecting my money. It's affecting my money.
But everybody, you guys talk as if you have everything together. You have no issues. That's the way people just. That's the
vibe I'm getting too.
On average, on a weekly basis, like how much you spend on transportation?
When going out, like I said earlier, on Saturday I went out. So I spent double of the amount I normally spend before.
Yes. So on average, if you have put in naira and kobo, like how much do you spend on a weekly basis? When you are in Abeokuta, do you move around now on campus?
Not really. Yeah.
Okay, so has it affected the people that, like, the question was answered? People normally ask you for this and all that. So has the subsidy in any way reduce the request that you get and free you of all those things?
And based on the fuel subsidy now, if you want to order Uber now, maybe from here to Cold Stone before, maybe it's like 1K, 2K, but now we want to spend double of the amount they normally spend before. So the request, even if you're asking me out, the request would have like reduced.
So the request have reduced?
Yes, the going out and everything. So I've been home.
Yeah. and do you like it like being on relegation in football?
I've been home now doing what?
Wow.
Except I'm going out for my business. So
I don't like. You like to go out instead of being home.
Yeah, I love going out instead of being home.
And spending other people, not your money, like
even if it's my money, it's affecting the person's money and also my money. So, like this subsidy now, if I go and chop food of 12,000 around,
you have money. 12,000. There was an article that made it to front page of Nairaland on this same issue. A particular guy, you read it. You have details of that.
You have to go on video. I think it's a video.
Damn. Yeah, I actually took the girl out on a date. I think he wasn't there when she ordered.
We go turn into Britain.
So when he came,
can be on a 50
on this kind of
guys, let's hear our tales.
Buhari Tinubu era. Buhari has not really
gone away. His spirit is still roaming around.
We are still in this Buhari era like this, and went out, eat food of 12K. And as a lady, at least when you are going out, have some money on yourself before you be like, okay, let me go out and eat what I like. So she actually did that, and when the guy came, the guy was like, pay the fee yourself.
All right.
Like, you have to pay the 12,000 naira yourself. So me now, I go out. I don't have money on me. I just have the TP going and coming. And I got there and I eat food of 12,000, 15,000. There are some restaurants
Me, I want to
charge you 15K just a plate of rice. 15,000, some restaurant like that.
The rice came from heaven.
No. Asked me to come out. Abi, you invited me out.
Okay.
I got there before you. And you asked me to take what I like.
No, the guy wasn't there. The guy did not ask you to take what you like.
The guy was not there.
You just went there on your own. You ordered.
Okay.
And you ordered
the food.
As a tip madam now. And you don't have money on you. And okay, the guy is coming now. God save and say no carry.
But what they come.
The guy is coming now. And then
ATM they come.
They told the guy the bill, and the guy was like, even if the guy had the money, you doing that alone without his own consent.
That's rubbish.
I like to hear Ogechi's point. Like the guy invited you, told you to take what you like. Okay. You now take something of 100K.
Because he asked you to take what
See, what if
this is the lawyers
what
now.
if what if it was the guy that actually picked that restaurant?
Exactly.
And
Why
said,
did you
okay,
take you
come
to
out.
something
That's
like
the
that? You're not
restaurant
going
you
to
go
spend
to.
any money.
Excuse me.
I'm taking for ice cream.
No.
That you spend
Wait,
for
please let me answer to that your question. So far, you are the one that asked me to come out.
Okay, every
You asked,
deal is
you
on
asked
you.
me to come
Come
out.
out.
So anything
But
I
I was-
eat, you have to take responsibility.
You actually
going to
were,
wash
but
plate, eh?
So when you come out, you not coming out.
I think it's this
It is
broadcast
quite-
here. We
me-
had
me
issue of
coming
me
out
telling
is
you.
actually-
Guys, guys, we can't. No,
It's
she was.
okay.
Let's
Okay.
okay. Let's finish.
It's still here. I was having issue of people saying I eat much when I say 4,000 naira. For crying out loud, the food where they chop
And the
for
4,000 you mentioned, that was before 4,000.
Yes, that's
You have to
now.
clarify. Okay.
Now again.
So now you'll be eating close to 8K.
I'm eating no up to 8 kg.
Okay.
Per city, no, not city. Per city.
Per meal.
Yeah, per meal.
No,
now.
come on, shoot.
So
Continue.
you now tell me that okay, you invited me out, told me I was staying on my own jejeje. You called me.
Imagine.
Hello, babe, come out. And I came out now, sat down. You assuming you wanted me not to eat as much as it is. You'll have been there before me. I hate waiting for somebody.
Okay. Very
Stay there. Wait for me. Let me be the one to come and meet you there. So that I will not eat past the level. Abi. So you have to pay for that 12K. If it's
So
me, I will
let's
not
just
pay.
summarize the story. What happened? Did the guy pay?
No, I don't think so.
The guy left her there and
Guy
got in his
left
car.
her.
I guess.
The girl should pay now.
I guess what she
Exactly.
said.
That's the same thing that
He
happened
said, he
to you.
said, drop your iPhone. You are using iPhone now, drop it. And probably she's using phone of over.
Girls
so
should
she
understand
can
that
work
before
for
you
1
leave
month.
your house.
She have Vex money.
And
Yes.
I've gone out with somebody, and at the end of the day, after eating, me I say go share this money into two.
Wow.
I wish not that I do not have the money to pay. I could pay that money at that point. You told me to come
you
out.
will wash plate,
We
oh.
share no. We share the money to two. We share
Even me
it.
self, I would.
Yes,
if I
at the end
go
of
out.
the day, we share the money. Me, I understand. You are very broke. Next time, you not come here out again.
And your feelings drop for the guy after that experience.
And we still talk now.
No,
There's no feelings in
There was no feelings
As
there.
friends,
I want-
exactly, and
you
you
should
should
understand that.
As a guy, that
You
guy.
want to impress me. At the end of the day, you not impress me again.
depressed
We
you.
share it now.
No, like, as a guy.
God, I beg.
All right, so let's bring it back into. I just wanted to at least have an idea. So if previously you were eating, we've gotten the gist. If previously your bill, and that's not even your bill on a date, so that's your normal bill
Yeah,
on
the
a
normal
day-to-day
eating,
basis.
yes.
So for you going out on a date and consuming 12 grand on a sitting is not a big deal for you as long as you go with your money.
Yes.
So it's good we know where Ogechi stands.
So that
All right,
those
so-
who
I
want
should want to say something earlier.
You were about to say something, yes.
Concerning what you said about maybe life and death before you can actually give out. What if at least you're a male, you don't have cousin, hello? They expect now you're working. It won't be transfer some money. So you won't give to them.
Apart from some money when there is no. It's when you have enough.
What if it's your
Transfer.
cousin, your
I'm not saying I can't give, but
But the guy has to be in that position.
it's not really.
It's a
No,
life
no, no,
and
no, no,
death
no, no, no.
position.
That would be an emergency.
See,
Okay.
giving should be based on account balance. It should be on account balance. Oh. If the account balance is not smiling at all, I know it cannot even be sufficient for me. That thing can wait.
You need to
too.
protect your
Okay,
rep now. You need to protect your
as
rep.
this, so just do a question back. As this subsidy stuff affected the dates you get, the request for dates you get. She said she doesn't go out on a date because they don't ask her out. He said her request has dropped. So what about it?
Okay. Me, anyway, before, like the busy aspect, work, and I'm very busy. So even if you want to ask, maybe Sunday, and even if you go and it has not actually affected me because I don't go off often.
So don't go out.
Now no dey comot, but if na comot, na to chop 100K something.
As anybody, okay, so if you had to rank it, from what we are saying so far, it seems as if the major way in which people's expenses have been affected by the subsidy removal has been transportation.
Yes, and you're not seeing the
and
money.
feed
Eh?
You are not seeing it. Like
Not just
you are not seeing the
transportation.
money set to use even for the transportation because you just work. Everybody is still complaining the same thing. Now, I'm here. I was supposed to be at work today. What happened? I'll just tell them everything is hard. No money to come to work today. It's true. My store is locked down. I had to tell the workers, you guys should rest today. Like, just rest.
So, which still brings us back. The major issue that people have been affected has been transportation.
Yeah.
All right. So you haven't spoken about how it affects your transportation.
I don't really go out apart from maybe I'm going out and someone is paying for my Uber or something like that. I don't go out to my own money.
So you said right now that you don't go anywhere unless
I go to school. I come back.
Okay, what school? What school do you attend?
Laspotech.
And are you close?
Am I?
You live within walking distance?
Yes, I live in Second Gate.
Okay, so you can walk to school.
Yes.
So you don't transport yourself to school? Not really. Okay, so it's not really affecting you from the point of view of transportation.
Yes.
Has anybody had to adjust the way they transport themselves to work?
Yes.
Maybe you lap people or something. Because I saw a lot of that. Has anybody had to? Maybe you probably were taking Darkpore, you were driving yourself before, and now you find that you have to join the Darkpore.
The only thing I see, the only thing that happened to me just recently, my work does not permit me to go out every day because I just get job once in a while and go out. So I don't go out every day. Now, maybe I want to go see somebody, and where I take for 200 is now 400. I just apply the mechanism of walking small. I trek small. Then I take bike. Where I'm going to is inside. I drop at junction. I also trek and finish it.
Everything
Instead of him charging me 400, and I end up spending my 200. So I know that trekking is also good to my health.
So very good.
So it has even helped my health.
You know that's
I
what,
follow his
as they are
principle.
talking, that's the women are thinking that these are broke men talk.
It's actually management. Because for me too,
It's actually management.
You have
I
to
do
plan
trek. I
yourself
wake up
actually.
early.
Yeah, it's another way of
And trek.
improvising.
Yeah.
So you say
it's
you
good
trek
for
a
your
lot.
heart. Your heart to thank you for that.
Although me, I will not trek. I just
I
like
will
I will
not
not
trek,
stay.
oh.
I will not come back.
I
I just create like a room for me in my store and just stay there. See, whenever I know I have money,
I will
come
not
back.
trek. I think last week, we started exams last week. I finished my exam last week. So I have to get up very early because my papers were mostly in the morning by 9. Because of traffic and everything, I have to leave very early. Like, let's say latest to 8, I should have left home. I will not trek. Even if the money is expensive. Normally, I would take 100 naira from my house to bus stop. But I'm paying 200 naira. I don't mind. I don't mind. I can't trek it.
You are seeing the rich
Well,
I can't actually trek it
in
because
your own case, the money is coming from somewhere. Because if that money was not coming from somewhere,
it's not actually.
You
I think
must.
last week I asked my mom for my allowance. And my mom was like, "She did not hear that far, of course."
Are you working? So, sorry, do you work?
Yeah, I actually work.
And you use that money that
And you still
Yeah.
use mommy's money too.
Yeah, and my mom was like, "Shebi, you have money in your account. I will refund you back." And I was like, "I know you will not refund me. Don't even bother." And that morning, I went to Vori. When I rejoined, I was just calculating the money, 200 naira for me, and then to first get.
When you wanted to spend
When
your
you
own
do that
money.
for like 1 month, you know that you have to trek.
No, even if it's 1 month, I will not trek.
So you're calculating when it was your own money that you withdraw.
But
Alright,
when
so
it is mommy's money, no qualms.
let's get back into the conversation. Okay, so the reason why we're having this conversation is because times are hard and there's every very natural tendency that things will get even harder. Okay? The subsidy we heard the announcement about 2 weeks ago. And so we haven't gotten to the end of the month. By the end of the month, in the weeks to come, people will start adjusting prices.
Definitely.
Okay, whether you like it or not. For example, now, your own experience, you notice that people that sold eggs in the market have adjusted their prices upwards. There's every tendency that when you also have to build your own products, when you have to design your food products and all that, you will add the increased cost to the food products and all that. So you will see a lot of things getting more expensive. And the reason why we're having this conversation is to see how people are coping with increase in food prices, in transport prices, and then perhaps there are things that people can learn from each other. Okay, so that's the reason. So is anybody here who has like a particular hack that you mentioned that you have to shorten your distances so that you spend the same 200 naira and then the rest you cover it by walking and all that. We cracked a joke that that's what broke people say, but generally everybody is doing a version of that. So is there any hack that anybody has discovered to help reduce the cost of items? Any tricks?
Canceling your your gym subscription now. I just follow his app. So that's money for gym.
Is there anybody here who has a gym subscription?
I think someone is intending to go.
He will grow the gym by fasting. I mean, the muscles by fasting.
I think naturally, people tend to adjust after a change. I saw something recently online where instead of using petrol to power a generator, people are now using gas cooker. The gas.
Yeah. I have people using it
So
also.
I'm like, wow. So we have the ability to do this before, but we can't. But because of the change in everything now, we are thinking straight now. Our brains are just working.
Well, it's risky.
So
It's very risky.
It's very risky.
Mention one thing in this slide that is not risky.
How was it?
How risky this life? How risky
This
this
is
life
very,
is?
very risky.
Mr.
You can
Mr.
actually
Mr.
not charge fire.
How risky this life is? You can't even live this. You can't get out of this life. Life.
I said,
Everything is a risk.
the way you are coping,
You can really survive your
The
20s.
truth is just always bitter, you know. That is just it.
I think his own position is that this is the usual situation of the country. You guys are just coming to join me.
The same way they are acting like they are new to it.
You know,
We are always adapting. That's just the point. We will always adapt with time. If you are not adapting immediately, then with time you will.
Yeah.
I had
Even before this subsidy, I have a friend that's using gas to power a generator. Before now, before the subsidy.
so the guy will just continue now.
Gas is even lesser now, so it's to his advantage. Gas is lesser now. So what are we talking about?
So the guy will be
You
like,
said generator is risky. You said gas is risky. People are not dying even with petrol.
Well, so we get that. So so for example, for those people who power generators, like we said, some people say that there's a way you can generate electricity by powering it with generators. I remember reading in the past couple of days that there's a local vehicle manufacturing company that is coming out with a car that runs on gas.
Wow, hallelujah.
It's very, very popular. I just don't want to mention their names and all that. So
It starts with I.
I think so. So that's one particular act. Is there anybody here that is into car sharing or carpooling?
Not directly.
Because that's also another way too that people cut costs. Although there's a bit of risk to it, instead of going by commercial transportation, you may have to flag down personal vehicle owners and give them a lift. Something like that. I was involved in a bit of that last week, and it was a bit
awkward.
Not awkward, but it was awkward I had a passenger in the car, and it was awkward for the passenger because the person who went on the trip with me felt that, why is this man doing kabu kabu? In fact, when we got to the destination, so the people flagged us down. We had to clear the back seat of the vehicle so that they could sit in. And then when we started the journey, immediately they got in, they just said, thank you very much for the lift.
Thank you, everybody was quiet.
Thank you very much for the lift. So in that
they paid without thank you.
So in my mind, I was like, these people don't want to pay. All right, so we eventually got to where they were going to come down, and then they offered me 500 naira for the three of them.
Three of them. Wonderful.
And when they're offering it, there's where you can offer 500 and your hand is.
You should say no, leave it.
I don't need to say anything. I must tell you at this point that they were women. It has no bearing on the story, but
So it just make me remember something.
you get to.
They don't like pain.
I called my friend one day and I told her, I told the guy, see me, I'm coming to join you. He said, okay. When we got there, that was in Ogoloto. I got to Ogoloto. He was supposed to take me down to Aja. So he said he was going there. I just saw it on here. I said, okay, I'm coming now. We play. I thought this guy will not collect money. Where we go now? We go to Aja. I said, guy, thank you very much. He said, madam.
Oh, yeah.
I said, how much will you not collect? Calculate it for me, Korodu, down to this place. AC blow you. And he was talking. I love the conversation. We're just laughing.
Nothing is free.
Since this time, when last did you laugh like this? So you will pay extra charge. feeling. I said, okay, send me your camera. Let me just find the money. And this guy collected it too. I said, babe, don't worry, just go. That's what I will hear for. I'm just thinking like now. If I last say thank you for the trip, you kind of bombastic side that you give.
All right, so on Friday, on my way back on Friday, I went to Ikeja, and on my way back from Ikeja on Friday, I actually, because this is the point, okay? If you are driving distances that probably if you drive a distance that you would need like 6 liters to cover, so back and forth you use 12 liters. Previously, with 2,000 naira, you would cover that distance. But right now, you probably would spend about 6,000 on that same distance just driving. So for most people who are like private car owners, it doesn't make sense for you to drive your vehicle and have the back seats empty, particularly when you have lots of people who are standing at bus stops who cannot afford the fare. On Monday and Wednesday of last week, I had to go to Ikeja by public transport. And it got to a stage here, I was just praying that I would get someone to give me a lift. Anybody.
Maybe it's a kidnapper.
Anybody to give me a lift. At a point, because you can imagine if you have to come down from a vehicle, board the next one, come down. And you may say that it's strange for me because that's basically several people's reality.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is this. So a lot of times if you are driving a private vehicle, I was saying this for those people who actually have private vehicles and you're watching this particular podcast, if you're driving a private vehicle, just realize that the people you are going to give lifts to don't see you as it being beneath you, giving them that lift for money. They actually are praying for that particular lift. That's the first. So then the second thing is this, because some people may feel uncomfortable that it's my private vehicle. Maybe someone comes into the car and the person tells you that thank you very much, or we're not going to pay, or they use thank you to overshadow the cost of paying. A very, very good act for you to do is to tell them that, well, you're not going to charge them for the cost of transportation, but
you're charging them for the fuel.
Whatever they can contribute towards the cost of fuel. Because I did that on Friday on my way back. I gave a particular guy a lift. The guy was, I think the man must be in his 50s or so. Guy, he works in a microfinance bank. We even invited him to come on the podcast and all, because we had this conversation. In fact, he fed into this particular conversation we're having today. And so when we were talking, he also mentioned that he had to abandon his car and he's saving up money to buy a Sienna bus.
So they can carry more people.
So that he can transport more people. You get. And so I gave him a lift. He asked me how much. I gave him a lift at K2 and he said how much is he going to pay? I told him, well, whatever he can pay towards the cost of fuel. That guy just wound down the window and started shouting. I agree. That's shouting, I agree.
That's the contribution.
The guy, eventually, we got people to come into the vehicle, the 3 back seats. We filled up the 3 back seats. So that you know that this is practical. We're not telling you. We filled up the 3 back seats. And then everybody was like, 2 people said that, 2 of the men in the back seat said that they'll pay 300 towards the cost of fuel. There was a lady in the middle that said, oh, she has 100 now. So which also fits back to my story about women and their money and their hands.
Gummy hands.
Eventually, the lady agreed to pay $200, and then we bought about 1,100 naira worth of fuel, which is just a little above 2 liters.
Jesus.
So you can imagine. So even that did not cover the fuel. Okay, when we got to the garage, the same guy again was going towards Beribe. So the guy started shouting the next round. The fact that you had a 50-year-old man who works in a microfinance bank who felt no shame at all, acting as a bus conductor for a private vehicle, just made me realize that people are going to cope. It was when he was going to get done, I realized why he did that, because the guy ended up dropping 100 naira. So everybody, the point is this, right now, everybody is calculating exactly how they will go about surviving. And so you should not allow shame. Do not feel that you'll be shocked that Okay, one final story before we go on with the show. On Monday, so I mentioned that on Monday and Wednesday last week, I didn't drive out. So on the Monday, when I got down to the garage, there's a particular man I know. The guy is a director, one of those directors in the public service. Very, very high-ranking person. I saw the guy come down from a danfo in his suit. Okay, so I was at the garage I think I wanted to buy particular food items or so. Those markets by the side of the road and all that. So the guy just came down and he saw me. He was shocked. So I greeted him and then I told him that. And I figured out why he was. And I told him that. I said I also just got down for
you're down for so
down for right now.
I will be comfortable.
So that I will be comfortable.
Something like that.
Well, I wasn't being honest. I got down, but it was from a Sienna, but there's no difference. And then I told him, and then the man said that he drove his car to work. And then he realized that he cannot afford to drive the car back. So he left the car and decided to come by public transport. As luck will have it, on Wednesday, as I got down almost at the same spot, and it was in front of Zenith Bank. You might know Zenith Bank at garages.
Yeah. So
I got down in Zenith Bank. I just saw that somebody was pressing the on. I'm like, who is this? I just saw him waving. Lo and behold, he was the one. So guy said, would I believe that his car that he took
left since Monday.
He's just bringing it back today. That is two. Show me. I greeted his two sons in the back. So those two sons were like looking like, I mean, why is our dad doing like this now? And then the guy gave me a lift to Itama. And while we were talking, he said that he doesn't even know how he's going to survive. That before the fuel increase, okay, going from his house to his office, he was spending about 65,000 naira every month. On fuel, roughly about a little above 15 grand per.
And that's twice the daily minimum wage in this country. Is that reasonable?
Per week. He said that right now, if he has to drive every day, he is going to spend about 200 to 210. He doesn't know. He knows there's no way in which he doesn't know where that money cannot come out of anywhere. And so that he's wondering
salary is not even increasing.
Do you get? He's wondering how people are. So the reason why we're having this conversation is so that you don't put yourself under unnecessary
duress
pressure.
Do you get? People are going through a lot. If you have if you are fortunate in which maybe you work in a place or you school somewhere where you don't have to transport yourself, you really do not know
how much of advantage
you don't know the
you
savings that you have. Because there are people right now who have quit their jobs over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, just
because it has dawned on them that the cost of transportation
is
they will spend more. Exactly. So
in fact, somebody said that we waiting are going there. Our prisoners don't know what God has done for them.
That tweet was crazy.
True.
He's a prisoner does not even know what God has done to them. They are just eating for free. They are just eating for free.
Transport
that was the end of my last week.
As you,
oh boy, I hope
the tweet boss my brain when I saw it.
Where people won't have to record themselves. Police see me, I'm committing a crime here.
All right, so okay, so very soon we'll close out this show. So in this conversation, a couple of pointers came up. Okay, one of the pointers is from the point of view of transportation. Mr. Abib Jimo mentioned that you might have to find a way to ensure that the previous amount of money you are spending on transportation is still what you're spending. So that means that some of those distances you may have to break your distances into parts. Some parts you may walk, some parts you take public transportation. Some other person mentioned that you may want to use state or government provided transportation like the BRT service, whose prices in Lagos, whose prices have appeared to stabilize. There's something else which did not cover in the conversation, but which is coming up now, and it's the fact that if you don't absolutely have to be anywhere, you are better off just staying put where you are. You may want to make use of conversations. You may want to make use of conversations over the phone, digital communication, Zoom, video calls, rather than appearing in person. Okay. We also, on the issue of food, one of the things that also came up in the conversation that you may need to realize that food items, even though they've not gone up right now, eventually will go up and you may have to adjust accordingly. When it comes to giving out gifts to people, we had someone in the studio mention that he only gives out gifts to people, cash gifts, if it's a matter of life and death. You need to also realize that you are not the only person going through this. From the point of view of carpooling, there might be the need for you to offer the empty seats in the back of your vehicle for those of you who drive to people who can join you on the journey, either to work or wherever it is you are going. You may have to tell them verbally that they will need to cover the cost of fueling the car for the journey, right? Because people there's a bit of that in some of our cultures. People still have a bit of shame that people who do professional work do not collect money from people. Someone in the studio our friend collected transport money from her without shame, and it's one of those things that we have to find a way to get over. Also on generating electricity, if you have generators, it was mentioned that there is an arc in which you can use to change your generators to run on gas. Yeah. So you may want to explore and look into that. All right, so we'll soon close out the show, but I don't know if anybody has any questions, things we did not cover, or perhaps things you want to clarify from people in the audience.
Just to finish the last part, probably you forgot that it was cheaper to bring her to your house than to take her on a date.
My God, that's a very good recap point.
But but that cheaper is in the short term.
In the short term, not enough.
If she gets pregnant in the long term,
it'll be more expensive.
You'll find out that it's more expensive.
Pampers are
price. God, I beg.
Baby food is like 8,000.
Did you say 8,000?
Yeah, 8,000. 8,000.
Did you buy?
Did you say 8,000?
For what?
Yeah, for baby food.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, per week, right? Per week.
As in,
it doesn't even last up to
1, 2,
2 weeks.
3.
No,
per week.
2 weeks
So
or
what
2
I say,
months.
you are saying 1, 2, 3 days.
Roughly.
When you have some
It's like 5 days,
child.
5 to 6 days, really.
It doesn't even
No,
last
man.
Children will fast too.
You said what?
Like baby food is not even expensive. She won't talk of Pampers. Pampers does not even last up to a week, and I think a Pampers is almost 10,000 naira now.
Then the
The
children
annoying
should
part is
fast.
that the way they do the Pampers is
Now most people won't try using napkin. They use napkin now.
At
Nobody
least
uses
for
Pampers.
when subsidy is over, you can just use napkin till the
your bills will have ratchets now.
you have
And
they need a napkin for you.
No, they do not.
People that they use napkin for, you have what is
I beg you.
There's always a cure for everything. Now, if you have rashes, they will cure it. But that one too is expensive.
but it's not.
Okay, we didn't even talk about the cost of healthcare because the cost of medication, because drugs have also become extremely expensive.
Yeah.
There's a particular antibiotic that used to sell for I think about 1,200. I had to buy it like a week or so ago, and it was 3,006. Okay, so you are better off keeping yourself in good health than falling ill. Okay, because the cost of treatment would far exceed the cost of feeding yourself and keeping yourself in good health. So let's also keep that at the back of our mind. Then also, please do not impregnate people. Okay, so
I don't get pregnant. What they do.
Yes, it's
kind of
unless you absolutely want to have a family, because it's extremely hard.
Sure.
I guess it's cleared now.
At this very time, if you have not made it and you want to have a baby, your baby will suffer. Suffer shiggy.
Before the baby come, God, the wife to go
But there are
suffer.
things that listen.
And we don't
whether I
want
like you or not,
People will still give birth.
whether I like you or not,
that's nice.
all right. That's why God gave women breasts.
so that there's that cost is
So
not
that
factored in.
regardless of the cost
Oh,
of
no.
the economy, all right, the child will still be able to get his own milk.
It's not all.
Please
It's
preach
not
on
all.
that.
It's not all children that
Preach
take
on
breast
that.
milk.
It's needed in our
Not
society.
all.
It's not all children.
Not
Are you
all.
serious?
Why?
There are
What
children
tell
that
me that?
rejected.
Yeah, I think
Madam?
one kids they reject.
There are
breast.
kids that when my aunt gave birth for 6 months, her baby did not suck.
So what was she eating?
Madam,
She was
They-
literally
madam,
giving.
No.
madam, let me tell you.
They don't know what they are
All right,
doing.
babies do not reject. The child may not suck. Is different from the child rejecting. If the child does not suck, you can express and then give to the child to drink. The child will drink it. The child may not have the suckling reflex. That happens to children that are born preterm.
Yeah.
Preterm children may not suck, okay, because there's a suckling reflex. All right, the mouth of the baby is supposed to root, pin to the nipple of the mom. Children who are born premature, some of them don't develop that reflex. Okay,
They have to
but
be taught.
what we are saying, we are being practical. Okay, breast milk has an advantage. Right?
Yeah.
You don't need to have gas to boil water to mix.
Something like that.
You don't need to wash the cup or you don't need to wash the container.
utensil.
But the
boiling
mother
water.
has to eat well so she could
She will
breastfeed
eat
the
now.
child.
Yes.
Now,
The mother can fast.
I will tell you this.
regularly.
When it comes to breast milk,
Okay.
okay? When it comes to breast milk, right? If all the mother is eating is beans and gari and maybe a bit of vegetable,
Every day.
the child will take whatever nutrient he wants from the mom.
100%.
He will take his own nutrients. Now, whether the nutrients will not be enough for the mom, that is our own problem. But that baby will get his nutrient. We are giving people practical advice because it's not everybody that will be able to increase their income by an extra 100, 150 or 200k.
And it doesn't. I'm not sure. He doesn't reduce the size of the breast now. So you are keeping it. It doesn't reduce the size of the breast.
Does
I
not reduce- I
wonder,
don't
that's
understand the
another
question.
problem.
No, you know, some of them will say, I don't want to breastfeed.
or I
this
don't
child.
want to have-
It might make my breast flat,
Or long.
reduce the size, or I mean,
They
the
have
breast
terms,
tissue, whether you breastfeed or not, the breastfeed tissue would undergo some changes.
And if it's standing, it's definitely.
But ideally, if you once you get pregnant and you deliver, and as a woman, your breast would become slightly bigger, okay, because the ducts become bigger and it starts to produce milk. So, and then the shape does not usually go back to the way it was before you have your first child, and that's why it seems as if a lot of women who have had children, the older they grow, the breast tends to become like something not as bouncy as it was
pre-terminal.
Yeah, before they had children. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. That's why you have a bras and the rest. But that's by the way.
Yeah, so
On the issue of nappies also are helpful. Okay, for some people, what some people do is rather than use nappies, some people they have the usual nappies and then they line them up with maybe like a cotton material inside, so that if the child stools and all that, they can remove the material from the nappies, wash the nappies, and wash the stool off the inside material. Okay, people used to do it in the past. It's cumbersome because that means that you would have to
spend some time.
You're going to spend time washing nappies and spreading, and then soap also is expensive now. So that's why we advise people that if you do not want to have children, it's important for you to pay attention to either abstinence or proper contraceptive. Because at this particular point in time in the country, it's not the time in which you get people pregnant that you don't plan to.
And disappear.
Oh my God. Even people who have children are not willing to help you raise your own children. But that's aside. Does anybody have any questions as it relates to the conversation we had? Maybe things we want to clarify. Does anybody need help coping with the increased price of items?
Me, I need help.
So anytime we are going out, I think I'll follow you. Just to tag along.
You have to pay. It's not
there's no FOC in the sea.
Anybody who goes along, even my immediate family, they're not careful. I'm a child.
I think there are really a lot of measures people need to take to cut down costs.
Yeah. For example, I took one yesterday. If you allow me just a few seconds, I was supposed to take my kids back to their grandma yesterday, and strangely, they're just 14 and 9.
There's nothing just about 14 and 9.
No, I mean, what
they're 14 years old
and 9.
Okay.
And 9. So it simply means that they are still kids. Yes, of course. Okay.
You've just set yourself in a different category with that statement.
Of course.
But please continue.
No, of course I should. But
there are keys to you.
When I was a child about that age, I remember I'd had to travel a distance of about 120 kilometers into a different town to write exams to get into senior secondary school. So that's the bobo I used for them. I say, well, you're a big girl now. When I was your age, I used to travel from Boko to Makodi to go and write exams. So you know what I'll do? I'll stand here. I'll put you in a vehicle, you and your brother. When you get home, I'll call you to find out you're fine. So instead of having to go myself with them to get home and then turn back just to save that the fro.
Okay.
Just to save the fro, I had to do that yesterday, which is it's not a
good idea.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. It's not. In fact,
very risky.
In fact, that's even good reasons for a woman to fight with you. Especially yes, of course, that's a good reason. She would fight with you, and you're actually guilty, but you just be doing ogbojo. Don't you know?
You can collect the full from her.
Well,
it's not about that.
The point is this: in that particular case, if it's certain that the means of transportation is trustworthy and reliable, and you can call, I mean, people put their children on planes and after their children fly to destinations now. So
that's why I had to say that, because it was really awkward for me doing that and walking back.
But that tells you the difficult decisions that people, particularly who are independent, have to make today. And so that you don't beat yourself up and feel that you're not doing. Then also, one more thing that I would want to add at this point is the fact that this is not the time for you to compare yourself with other people. People come from different backgrounds. People have support systems that you might not be aware of.
Yeah.
All right. I have how do I put it right now? I had a friend. Okay. I had a friend who at some point I talking to him, I would feel uncomfortable because he lived in Ikeja. Mm-hmm. All right. And we more or less like have the same background. per se. So sometimes the things that are easy for him to do, it becomes a bit hard for you to do because you always have to navigate around the issue of transportation and moving around. Whether I like it or not, people who live in some parts of Lagos have an advantage.
Yeah,
true. Over people who live on the outskirts. You get, particularly. But there was a major issue. Where he was staying in Ikeja, he inherited the house from his father. Okay? That particular friend, his father about 40, 50 years ago, bought the property in Ikeja while the father was working with UAC. So unless you can travel back in time and get your father 50 years to go and buy property in some location, there's just some things. So people have all those unhidden advantages that you won't hear about. And at moments like this, it becomes even much more accelerated. I had conversations when this fuel subsidy issue broke out. I was having conversations with people who lived in Ikeja, in their own houses in Ikeja. And one of the things they mentioned was the fact that they were not really affected by it. Because the person who was living in Ikeja, who is working in Ikeja, is covering a distance in which it was 100 naira before. It's now 300 naira.
Yeah, and they can choose to walk.
And they can choose to walk. Scenario. In fact, I know someone who actually walks that distance. Okay, so they are not. So it's whatever would work for us, you have to look at the peculiarity of your individual situations. Okay, so with that, we'll wrap up the show. All right, so thank you very much for being a part of the show. We hope you were able to pick something. If you have watched the video up to this point, just click the subscribe button on YouTube and then on any other platform. It just helps. Like, share. Our goal is to build a community and to help young people across Africa who may be facing one issue or the other start new things. Okay, start new careers, start new families, start new relationships, and to figure out the way the world works. That's the goal of the show. My name is Ade Folami Agunbiade. This is a Darkpore show. I've been your host alongside with Asa Oji, Ayo, Anu Oluwapo, and Adam Adegoke. So we'll be moving into the second show. The second show we'll be talking about should you continue or should you stop? Okay, the focus of the show is on looking for love. When do you agree that love has come to an end? And when should you exit the relationship? That's what we'll be talking about in the second show. So thank you very much. Thanks for being on this show. You guys, thank you for coming around.
Thank you.